Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Friday night FST Improv interview. My name is Will Luera. I'm the Director of Improvisation at Florida Studio Theater, and this is our weekly improv interview show where we interview leading artists, actors, directors, trainers of the improv community from here in Florida, from all over the U.S., and all over the world. Now, this is just one of three virtual offerings that we have every week. On Thursday night, we have at 9:15 p.m. we have Spanish-speaking improv with Impro Latinx. On Saturday nights, we do our radio call-in show where we invite all of you to also participate. That is over our Instagram feed. And yes, every Friday night we do these improv interviews. And I've been lucky enough to be able to interview some very amazing and very talented people who have shared their story, shared their expertise, and it's so wonderful to be able to reconnect with them as well. As you saw, some of these interviews will start with improv, but then we'll start talking about life and many other things. My next guest tonight is someone that I met just over a year ago. We participated in an improv festival in Colombia, South America, and I find it interesting. I talked about this last week with Jonathan Pitts as well, when we were talking about international improv, that there is a much greater improv scene. This guy that we're about to talk to has become a pretty good expert on that improv scene, especially in the Americas. So without further ado, let's welcome to the improv stage from Chile in South America. Let's hear it for Pablo Boraquevich. Pablo, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, all of you watching this now and tomorrow and forever.
And forever, yeah, we're actually creating a library of these. The theater is creating a library that then are going to go on our website because, as you know, I talked to you beforehand. We have all these different topics that we're going to be focusing on, and in a second we'll get to our topic. But I said in the intro that yeah, we met just over a year ago in South America in Colombia, and that was a fun week.
Oh, yes, it was so fun. Because improv festivals are fun per se, they're amazing.
Yeah.
But this one had a lot of quality improvisers, a lot of quality shows, quality workshops. And it wasn't in Colombia's capital, it wasn't in Bogota, it was near Bogota in a small city. So we got to know people and they were to every show. It was really special. I really enjoyed it.
I found that so interesting. Mosquera. There was I
Yes.
remembered it now. Because I found it interesting that not only did we perform in this small city, but then we performed in smaller towns around the small city. Like we would get on a bus and go to a tiny little town and do improv, which was a very new experience for me. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was beautiful because I have improvised in small towns, in jails, in hospitals. There are really different experiences from each other. And this thing about going to a small town, it's amazing because they're watching you with eyes like this because they haven't seen
Yes.
that before and they appreciate that what you're doing because they don't have as many options.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was a very interesting festival for me in another way because it had been a while since I've done a tour in or like a not even a tour, but like a festival like that in South America. And I caught myself like I talked to a lot of you guys, and you guys had worked with people that I used to work with like 15 years ago, like you included, right? Like some of your colleagues in Chile are improvisers that I was improvising with like 14, 15 years ago. And I remember like the team from Mexico was the same thing. Like their teachers were the ones that I was performing with. So I started to feel a little old, but I think it's just, but it's just it's such a big community.
Yes, yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And what happens with improvisers, I guess if you're watching this, you know, is that you meet an improviser and after 20 words on a beer or 1 minute on stage, you're brothers and sisters. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
together in a way, you know, our souls are connected beyond earth things. It's amazing.
It's so true. I there's many times I've traveled abroad and I've gone out. I go see a show. Improvisers I've never met. Just go see a show, and then I'm later that night. I'm at a bar with them and trying to piece together conversations. but we do speak that same improv language that
Yeah.
brings us all together.
And you know what? I've done improv for 17 years, and just now I realized that maybe we get along so well is because we train our egos on daily basis.
Yeah.
In order to be a good improviser, you have to keep your egos really small and your ears big and listen to each other. And maybe other people, normal people, normal people, just don't listen to each other as well. And their egos just stop from communicating. And we are like sponges, just
That's so
absorb.
good. I like how you said it. Keep your ego small and your ears big,
Yeah.
right? It's so true. Like in one of my levels, like level one, I think, right away we start to talk. I start to talk about that ego and just like keeping the ego down. And in level two, we really start to talk about just letting that ego stay down so that you could have that good improv scene. Yeah. Now, I said at the beginning that you are well, last week I spoke with Jonathan Pitts from Chicago, and he does a lot of improv touring, but he focuses more on like Europe and Asia. And but we did talk. He and I talked a lot about the differences of all the different styles of improv, and I feel like you have become kind of an expert in different types of improv. And I kind of what I want to do is kind of show everybody a little something of what you do.
Oh, great.
So that's you right there.
Oh, yeah. One of my fa- That's one of my faces.
That's one of your faces. And I just want to play a little bit of this clip and then I want to talk about it. Right. So here we go.
Right.
Oop, oh, wait a minute. No sound. Hold on. Let me do that again. Because you got to hear the sound. The sound is so good.
Yeah. My stupid faces without the sound are pointless.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Here we go. All right. So we'll try that one more time. And with the sound, here we go. Oh, do you hear that?
No.
No, still no sound. We got to hear the sound. All right. So I'm going to try that one more time. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. But anyway, while I set this up, I think I want people to know that what you've been creating here is a series of videos that are trying to capture the DNA of every improv community by country, right? So there's your face again. And here we go.
Hola, continúo investigando la impro en el mundo. ¿Qué parte del ADN compartimos y qué nos hace diferentes según el lugar donde improvisamos? Sigo recorriendo países para encontrar esa conclusión, para llegar a ese punto en el cual logramos entendernos. Hoy, otro capítulo de Improsincrasia.
Improsincrasia, Perú.
So this is the Peru episode.
Yes.
And I love it. They're so nicely produced. And in the intro there, you say that you're looking for the DNA of each country, like what makes that improv community, I guess, unique. But so before I even talk about what you've discovered so far, I want to know like what gave you this idea? Where did this idea come from?
Well, I was talking to Jose Luis Saldaña from Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
The leader of Complot Escena and a lot of great Mexican crews there.
He's been here to Sarasota.
Really? Oh, amazing.
We brought him. We brought Complot Escena for the improv festival.
Right. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Him, Omar Medina, Carla, they're great. We were talking to him and he was saying like something like, you know what? It's amazing how you guys in Chile improvise in a different way, but similar to us. And I just came up with this ridiculous concept of, well, I guess it's our improv syncrasy. Just to get a laugh. And he was, oh, that's an interesting concept. And I say, you know what? Yeah. But that was like 7 years ago. And like this whole COVID thing, I was just stuck home teaching online, performing online. And I said, I need to do something new, something fresh, right?
Yeah.
And I remember that talk that we had, and I said, let's start investigating. Well, I'm from Argentina, and I wrote emails and called all my Argentinian improvisers and say, hey, I have this crazy idea. Why don't you guys send me a video with the questions that I'm going to send you? and I'm going to put up an interesting video to see if I can identify and analyze what Argentinian improv is. It was great. Then I started doing it on Spain, Uruguay, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Brazil. Jesus, now I can't stop. I can't stop.
Yeah, and they're really interesting. I watched them and I find them fascinating. And would you? So you didn't know when you made the first one for Argentina, you had no idea what was going to come of it. You just had an idea. You started. You didn't even know if there was going to be another one, but you tried it.
Exactly. I ended up, I did the whole thing. I produced it's exhausting, by the way. I produced it. I contacted the improvisers. I received the videos. I edit because I studied cinema in college. I edit the videos. I put everything together. I do the voiceover, the animations. And I was like, Jesus. And after that, I said, okay, I kind of like it. The conclusions, I just published the video, just upload it, and everyone start commenting and writing to me, hey, this is amazing, but I don't agree with what Paula said because I think that we are like this. I know, and it started getting bigger, and it was like, oh wow, this is the thing. This is interesting. It mobilized improvisers, and I said, I need to do this. But the interesting thing is that I'm trying to identify, because I try to take three concepts, right? Three main concepts from each country. And I think, and what I want is to get at least one or two that are particular from that area, but one I think is going to be connected to every improviser in the world, because now I'm focusing on the whole American continent, but it may keep growing. I don't know. And I want to find what's that genome that connects us all, you know? I don't know if it's small ego, or that we listen to each other, or if we are I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to find it, but I did find some interesting things from each country. For example, in Argentina, we are really talky, as you guys in the States. We are kind of, we think we're so smart, and we like to stand there and being funny, you know, but in Peru, Colombia, they are way more physical, way more physical. In Chile, there's a combination of both. In Uruguay, it's very political. In Costa Rica, they are so nice. They're so nice in Costa Rica. I just edited last week, and it was like, how improv in Costa Rica is friendly, great, it's family. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go there. I want to leave.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've loved watching them. I mean, I think it's such a great idea. And I love I can't wait to see where it goes to, right? This final the final episode that's going to capture everything.
Exactly. I mean, I only have left, United States, and I have to end up polishing Brazil. And I guess that's it. I'm going to have like 13 episodes.
How about Canada?
Canada. Well, I would love to. If you're going to help me with that, I would love to.
Yeah. There's some interesting. In fact, when you contacted me about the United States, I thought of several people. I'm like, oh no, wait, they're Canadian, but they have their own unique, because of Keith Johnstone. They developed improv differently up there. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting. There's still people. They still play match style. They still play up there,
and they televise that. It's a huge thing. Right?
It's a huge thing. Yeah. So
I would love to. I mean,
we could talk about it. Oh yeah. Wait. There we go. There it is.
It's gonna be Canada episode. Yeah.
So you mentioned something that I think is really important about your background in cinema, and I want to go into that a little bit, because part of the festival that we did in Colombia involved, and this is very rare. I don't know if it's common in Latin American festivals, but it's very rare that, first of all, the size of the festival is very rare. It was very, compared to American festivals, it was very small, right? It was only like 4 or 5 teams. And then we were all invited to teach a master class, but we were teaching it to all of the other teams, which was very interesting. That's something that you do not do here. Here, you sign up and you have to pay and take all these workshops. But I thought it was interesting because they were for me they were master classes, and I'm like, I was very at first. I'll be honest. At first, I was like, come on, like I want a day off. Like I just want to like hang out and walk around and go visit things. But I was very grateful because it's rare, and I don't know if you find yourself in this position where it's rare that you get to be a student again because you teach so much, but I've got to be a student again, and your workshop was, I thought, one of my favorites because that's what that I was just like, wow, that this is really. I think it was the way you taught it, but part of it was that your background in film, and obviously it's only a 40-minute interview, but I loved the way that you captured narrative improvisation or just being the awareness you should have in regards to narrative improvisation. So I just was wondering if you could share some of your thoughts on that because I thought it was so enlightening.
Well, first of all, thank you for your words, because you're an amazing teacher and you've done so many great things. And secondly, yes, and you know what? I started doing improv, and since day one, I was like, I always thought about the story because I don't care if it's a short form, long form, competitive, non-competitive improv, if it's pantomime improv, if it's with props, without, I don't care. We are all telling stories, right? We tell stories. That's one person's story, solo, a group of 10 improvisers, I don't know. We're telling stories. And when I started cinema, I specialize on well, I studied in Buenos Aires, and you start taking classes and you can be a cameraman, a producer, a director, or a writer, a screenwriter. And I did all the different subjects that I ended up being a screenwriter. I mean, I never worked. I never get a paycheck as a screenwriter, but I finished the college that way. And so I everything for me is a story, you know? I also coach storytellers and politicians here in Chile. And I grab their speeches and I turn them into stories and I change things and I coach them because for me, everything is a story, everything. And when I started doing improv since day one, I'm telling a story. So I started, and this is the thing, because you need to be fluent, you need to be organic, and it's like driving. I always use the same metaphor, right? It's like driving. Once you read the manual, there's a bunch of rules that you have to remember. And after, I don't know, 100 hours of practice with your dad, uncle, or friend's car, you kind of know what to do. That's what you have after finishing my workshop or movies, just been a lot of to movies, but you have to do that a lot, because that knowledge, the narrative in improv, if you're not really patient and you don't work that enough, that could structure and square your way of the way that you suggest on stage, you be really conditioned by it. So you have to study. And I was a movie freak when I was a kid. My dad had a video store, so I was like, I think I watched every single movie ever. I truly believe so. So when I started doing improv, that was a fresh thing in my head. I always been telling stories. So what I did is that I grabbed, after 2 or 3 years of doing improv, I went and trying to look for my books, because I was studying in the 90s. So we had books, right, when we studied. And I grabbed my books and my improv books and my screenwriting books, and I tried to start finding things in common, bridges between the theory of improv and the theory of screenwriting. And I found like the structure, that core thing that unites them, which is from Aristotle and the 3 acts of just having a platform of who, what, where in a simple and in a complex way. But that needs to be something that it needs to be organic, but that's that's not the plot, that's not the twist, that's just what the main character is living, right? And I always tell my students, if you want to, how would you start the scene? I want to fight him to death. Okay, let's do that. But that's not the plot, because the plot needs to be something interesting and organic that changes the main character.
Yeah.
So if I say, okay, it's a weird, okay, it's not a weird, but it's a tough way of starting the scene. But if you want to start the scene, fight him to death, don't hurt yourself, but do it. But that's the uh, that's how your character lives every day. Then if
Yeah.
you want to start with that first suggestion
Yes.
that comes to your mind, that's what your character does
Mm.
daily, right? So he's
Yeah.
a bully, or he's a boxer, I don't know, or he was hired by the mob to break the poor guy's legs. I don't know, but that's what he does. And then organically, you need to understand that that's just a first act. That's act number one, and you're building that until if it's a short form, you have less time. But if it's a long form, it's amazing because you have time to internalize and see what thing may change the way that your main character lives.
Mm.
What thing, what goal will make him leave all that behind to change that, you know?
Mhm.
So if you start trying to kill someone, what if the third person that you're trying to kill, because let's make that example. If I'm
Yeah.
talking too much, just tell me.
No, I love it. I mean, I'm back in class right now. This is great.
If a student says, okay, I want to kill someone. Okay, let's go. You're a hitman. Let's start this. I want to kill you. Give me the money. No, bah, 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 bah. He grabs the money, leaves, you know. We cut scene to his boss receiving the money, paying him. There's another case for you. Okay, let's go kill that guy. Okay, I'm going to kill him with a sniper. Done. Comes back, third case, fourth death. And then if you're really listening, your mates on the scene, you know, the rest of the improvisers, they're really listening to what's going on. They need to understand that that's not the plot. They need to build the plot for him or her. So, okay. So, for example, I'm watching that and I kind of feel that this is kind of the 10 or 15% of the whole structure. So we need to find the plot now. There's enough setup. And I say, okay, I'm another victim, and I'm another victim waiting for the killer. Okay, I'm just writing in my office, you know, and when the killer appears, son, what you doing? And oh, and that will change, and then we have a great story. You know?
Yeah.
And Dad, what are you doing here? I'm finishing my paper. I need to publish this tomorrow. But they sent me to kill you. Who? I can't tell you. Let's go grab a beer. Okay. And I haven't seen you a lot of years, you know. And okay, now the main character has this important decision. Does he fulfill his murder, or does he go against his bosses and defend his dad, or start in bed? I don't know, but we're improvising, right? I don't know what happened. But it's important for us to understand that those first minutes are for just building the setup. We are telling the audience and the rest of the improvisers who that main character is. And we as secondary and extras need to help that character find out who he is or who she is. And once that happens, that we have a bulletproof story.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And you know, as you were walking me through that, like I was feeling the same intuitively. I was going there with you, and I know that. I know. Well, part of it is like, you know, you and I have a lot of experience doing this, so we're kind of maybe going along the same lines. But also, you were, and I think this is what's important for me. What's important sometimes in narrative improv is you were taking small steps. It was very small. It was very simple. And then, so for me, like a narrative, if you don't rush, just be patient, take small steps, it becomes obvious. For everybody else, it becomes obvious. This is what needs to happen, right? And like you were saying, if we're all listening, we all know that this is what needs to happen. Now, outside of storytelling, how has cinema influenced your improvisation?
Oh, characters, for sure. Absolutely. The way a character shows himself or herself it's amazing because it's not only with words, right? And I used to love watching a movie, watching those first moments of a character. If it's a character that appears in the middle of the movie, it's not at the beginning; it's the middle of the movie. But it's beautiful to watch those first moments, those first shots, movements, the way he or she talks or drives or smokes, and without the word, you know who that character is, the status of that character. You know a lot of things without even speaking one word. And I always love that. And I understood that on script writing because they said, hey, when I was young, I was like 19, 20, and I say, hey, I need to write my script, but there's nothing going on. What am I going to read if there's no one speaking? And my teacher said, oh, poor boy. A lot of things a lot of things are going on, and he showed me a few scripts in which he was working on, and look, and it was just going page after page and not a word, and he was just describing, and that's what scripts are. Also, not only words that characters say, but also actions and things that talk for the characters.
Mhm.
And I understood that back then, and I love that. Just enter a scene, just order a scotch, and just sit there, and I'm telling everyone who I am.
Yeah, yeah,
And I love that of long form. If it's short form, you have less resources to do that,
yeah.
and you have the anxiety of everyone, but
Mhm, mhm.
you still kind of do it if you're trained.
Now, do you work in do you are you affiliated with a theater, or do you do solo work? Are you affiliated with multiple theaters?
Oh, I'm affiliated with Los Playmobil in Chile
Uh-huh.
now, and with Claudio Lisset, and a bunch of great improvisers, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, but the great thing about this, I'm only talking about good things of COVID, right? Because if we start talking about bad
Oh,
things, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, one of the good things of COVID is that we can start working with great other companies. I mean, I'm in my studio and I'm talking to you in Sarasota, and I was talking to a guy in Mexico an hour ago, and tomorrow I have a show with a guy in Argentina and Spain. So I'm affiliated with Los Playmobil, but we are expanding
Yeah.
our horizons in terms of who we work with, where are we doing things. Everything is relative now.
Did this the studio that you're in now, did that exist before COVID?
Oh no, it was just a room
Yeah.
where I used to pile things, and just store things that I don't use. And I got a bunch of Marvel and DC characters there, and I realized that I had to buy one of the uh,
Yeah.
screens, this ring lights,
Yeah.
and I turned this into a studio because I had to broadcast, I had to do classes, I had to perform shows.
Yeah.
It became a home studio.
Yeah, same. Like I'm like where I'm standing now. This was not here. This is now here. My room, my bedroom's on the other side of it. But also, like the way my desk looks right here, totally different. I mean, I have two computers. I have two ring lights. I have two monitors. I have a microphone. None of that was here before.
And that should stay,
Yeah.
because 2021 is going to be the year when we all start getting together, I hope. But this should stay. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to be back performing, every weekend and teaching.
Mhm.
And at least once a week, we should do this.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
absolutely agree. Yeah. I don't know if you've had the same thing happen to you in Chile, but we are like people are taking because it's virtual. People are taking classes with us that never, we have a lot of people that go up north for the summer because they don't want to be in the heat. They went up north and they're still taking classes, and
yeah.
which is great for them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and the United States, it's a huge country with a great metropolis.
yeah,
And the thing in Chile is that only Santiago, the main capital, is
mm,
big.
hmm,
And
yeah,
a lot of people from deep south, I mean, almost near the South Pole, they are taking classes, and they would have never had that chance before.
wow,
That's still Chile, but they don't have
yeah.
that there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I do hope that. I mean, I'm very interested to see what stays. I mean, I think some has to stay. It's just so good. Like virtual classes, like stuff like this, virtual improv festivals that have been happening. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I would have never have done. Like this, what we're doing now happened because we did our improv festival virtually in July,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to do all shows because it's like we were talking about this earlier. Like you could get fatigue, get tired of watching all these improv shows. But I'm like, let me mix it up. Let me put something different. And this is what came out of it, and people loved them, and they came out of the festival. And so now we just keep doing them because they become very popular. And what I've been starting to do now is these interviews. I will refer to them in my classes. So I'll say like, hey, this week we're about to work on narrative improv. I want you to go watch the episode with Pablo, right? And then they'll come see it.
Great.
Yeah,
Hey, students.
yeah. Like for the rest of time, they're going to be coming to see the Pablo Boraquevich narrative improv episode.
I'm gonna be dead, and they're gonna keep watching this video.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, so that's fantastic. Like I said before, I felt like I was right back in class listening to you talk about this. I took so many notes in your class. I was like on my phone. And I felt bad because I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't think I'm texting because I was like, trying to keep up with you. But it was great, and I look forward to being able to get back out there again
Oh
and
yeah.
do all this. Now, what's next for you improv wise? Other than these videos, the videos you come up with are great. So you have the ones about the countries, and do you have other stuff that you're producing
Yeah.
also?
I'm producing interviews with great improvisers in
Mm,
Latin America and Spain. They are called PROL, which is
Prol.
stands for who, what, where in Spanish.
I
Who
have
you
seen
are,
these. Yes, yeah, they're
and
good. They're good.
thank you. I'm doing. I'm going to start a new section now called "It Happens in Hollywood." Which is famous improvised scenes from movies. I'm going to analyze them.
Mm. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Could you give us one of them? One of your favorites?
My favorite, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboys. Yeah.
Totally improvised.
So, yeah, I mean, they didn't have the permit to shoot on the street. So they were just hiding the camera, and a cab almost hit Dustin Hoffman. That happened.
Wow.
uh, Dustin Hoffman said, "Hey, I'm walking." And he was limping, so he couldn't rush, because that was his cat.
Yeah.
And I'm walking here. Yeah, I
That's
love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh wow, I can't wait. I can't wait for that one. Well, man, that's awesome, Pablo. I've definitely been inspired by some of the stuff that you're producing. And do you think this will continue after COVID? You'll keep doing stuff like this? Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm gonna keep doing this. I love it. It takes a lot of time and energy, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And the thing that what a lot of people have asked me, why you're doing this? Like, if it is because you know what, I'm doing it through my Instagram and YouTube, which is Bora Impro. You may try to find that and follow me. But I know that improv community is not big, so I'm not doing it for followers or to
Yeah.
just monetize my channel. That's impossible. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get money from this at all. There's a few improvisers in the world, who will be interested in those videos. But I am doing it for two big reasons. One, because I want to bring us together. In many different countries, improvisers are segregated. I don't know. Two head directors of companies had a quarrel and they fight. These improvisers don't talk to these improvisers, and if you're from this city, you don't talk to the improviser from this city, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So much. I don't know if I can curse. I won't. So much stupidity. So much. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I try to bring all of them together. Like in the Chilean version, which is and the Argentinian, because I'm from Argentina, but I live in Chile for 11 years, I call everyone. I know that you hate this guy and you don't talk to this guy, but you're all going to be in the video, right? Because I need you to be at least together in this. And it worked, and it's working. So that's the main reason, to bring us all together and to use this online thing that has been going on. And I think it's going to keep going to keep us connected, because before COVID, we meet on a festival. Maybe we share a like on social media for a while, and then we see each other in another 5 years. And that's not how we are supposed to be living. If we respect our work and we like each other, we should be more in touch. So that's what I'm trying to do with this online thing, my videos, like just get the community tighter,
I love that. That's such a great goal, and one that I really agree with. I've when I had my theater up in Boston, I used to have people that would be so upset at the competition, and not even, I don't even know why. They just were so upset, and I would tell I would send out surveys regularly to the public, not even to our audience. Just I would buy emails, send them out to the general public, and we would and one of the questions was, did you know that you could see live improv in Boston every weekend? Only about 15 to 20% knew that you could. And so I would tell my theater, I'm like, you guys are fighting, arguing, and there's 80% of people that still don't know you can see live improv. So why are we fighting over crumbs when there's still a big pie? So let's just all, and I used to tell my actors, I'm like, when we are fighting over 100, when 100% of the people are watching improv live, then we could maybe fight.
And if I don't know if 100, but if 70% of people know about improv, you don't have to fight. You will live like kings.
You will live like kings, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Because I used to be like, why are you guys fighting? There's no, and insulting each other, like, oh, you do short form, oh, you do long form. Like, who cares? Let's just all do comedy.
Exactly. And it's I don't know if it's a maturity thing, but I think it's one of the bases of improv, actually. You have to share, and that's what you said well at the beginning, just to be humble, as you said, because with all the things that you have done, that you think, okay, I'm going to be a student, great. That's what we should all be doing, just be humble and share. I love sharing what I know. I love sharing what I don't know. I think it's really funny also. It's way more funny sharing what you don't know than what you know. And learning, it's the minute you stop being humble, it's the minute you die. And in improv, you need to keep growing and growing and growing. If you're not doing that, you're stuck, and you're going to be left alone in that island.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. Oh, well, Pablo, this was great, man. I like the energy we ended on. That was good, and I'm glad. And I love the mission behind your work, and I like the work itself. It's such good stuff, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I will get you in touch with Canadian improvisers. That's my homework. My homework after this.
Yes.
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do an episode on Canada. That would be great. Loose moves and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Man. All right, buddy.
Thank you. I want to make public that if it wasn't for you, the United States episode would never have come to light, because I know you, I know Jill, I know a couple of guys in Tennessee doing improv, but just to get together 10 or 12 experienced improviser and answered my call and sharing their knowledge on their video is not easy. So thank you.
And I think the one that you're going to capture for the US is going to be very interesting, just because where we are as a country right now has really affected the improv. I mean, all the improv theaters that are closing, the civil rights stuff, politics, it's going to make for an interesting episode.
Absolutely. And that's what it's really interesting, because in improv, every piece of art is politics, right? Because you're talking about things and you're on stage and you're talking to people, so it's politics. It's not right or left wing, it's just politics, right?
Yeah.
Because that's art. And improv, among other types of art, we don't have a filter.
Yeah.
So we don't wait in our studios, okay, what am I going to be writing about? This poem going to be, no, let's don't write about that. We're just there, just flowing with no filter, with all our anguish and love and hate, and we just throw that on stage. And so it's so pure. Of course, it's going to talk about what's going on. It always does. And it's beautiful.
That's awesome. All improv is politics.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you're talking about coffee, it's politics. Quarter pounder with cheese, it's politics.
Was it Boal that used to talk about that? Like, I feel like Boal used to talk a lot about theater being politics.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And improv is more politics than regular improv from regular theater.
Theater,
yeah, for sure. You're there naked, with just your ideas, your thoughts, your moral, your ethics.
Yeah.
It's just you writing that. So you can't hide.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Pablo. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. This is so good. This is great. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and thank you, future students. Pablo is now dead, but you are still, and I am also dead, but you are enjoying the lessons of Pablo. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Pablo. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.